Alright, I'm going to be watching a game from Mugcat. I was originally going to do it blind, but my microphone messed up, so I've got to re-record it and hope it doesn't mess up again. So fingers crossed. It's going to be Dragon Link versus Tearlament, with Mug playing Dragon Link. The opening hand is not great, but also not terrible. It's shaky, for sure, because we have our Dragon Ravine, Boot Sector Launch, and Branded Beast, which are all cards that we want to be finding through our combo, which means that our combo is a little bit weaker in general. Dragon Ravine is going to be sending Absolrouter Dragon to fetch Rocket Tracer, because that gives us payoffs to both the Rocket Synchron and the Boot Sector Launch in our hand. Which means that our disposable cards, if you will, are Called by the Grave and Branded Beast. An argument can be made that with a shaky hand like this, it would behoove you to play risky. And to that point, you could send Called by the Grave and just pray that they don't max see you. Or you could, send Branded Beast and give up a little bit of that end board, give up a little bit of that grind game, for, the ability to start a little bit safer. I don't think that either one is necessarily correct, but one is the riskier play and one is the safer play. Mug is going to choose to go for the safer play, which is reasonable. Playing around Max C is kind of the name of the game in Master Duel. And we do see the the Ravine pitch the Absolrouter Dragon. And on the normal summon of Rocket Synchron, the opponent shows their Magnamut in hand. So no instant level 8 Synchro on normal summon, which is unfortunate, but because he fetched the Tracer, he still has follow-through. There's no point in him linking into a Striker here, because he's just already got the Boot Sector. So we're going to see the linear progression of the combo. He goes Boot Sector into Tracer, into Recharger, into Chaos Ruler. And the mill is cracked, quite frankly. The mill is absolutely insane, which is what it needed to be. So he sees Wyverburster, Sorrowliege, Safer, Joyous Spring, Lubellion, and Drusfirm. I think that the obvious pick is Wyverburster, because Safer goes ahead. We've already normal summoned, so there's no point in taking the Safer, especially when you can just use the Safer to pick up the Lubellion. The only two choices are Wyverburster and Druisworm, and you can fetch for Druisworm through your combo, but you can't really replace multiple summons from the Wyverburster extension. So without a doubt, he's going to be picking up the Wyverburster here, because he gets to pick up everything else. And on the effect resolution, we see the Kelbeck, which is going to bounce the Chaos Ruler and prevent the Lubellion from special summoning from the graveyard. So we're going to see the pickup of the Lubellion, activation, fetch Magnamut, of course, summon Magnamut. That effect activated on summon to search for a Bestial at the end of the turn. He gets regained, and continues on. I think it's reasonable to go ahead and use your regained draw, because on a shaky hand you kind of are just looking for extenders and other things. It's good to get the draw in early so that you can commit to a better line. You don't want to commit to a suboptimal line and end on a weaker end board and then draw a card and realize, oh, it was an extender that would have changed everything. So it was a good play. He goes into dark just to make the arrows. I presume he, looking at his extra deck, yeah, there was not necessarily any reason not to make spheres. I mean, there's no reason really to play around Nibiru in this format, but you know, not wasting spheres is good. And it is going to be linked off into a Borreland anyway, so it's a minor decision. He goes ahead and sets up the Pisty Gate, fetches his dragon, makes a triple burst. He gets back his Druisworm. Now it's in the graveyard, so we can grab it back with Magnamut. Borreland dragon. Kelbeck does not activate when sent from the field. It's too bad he doesn't play Levianeer, which I don't either in 40 card Dragon Link, because he could have actually turned this Chaos Space into a Levianeer and gotten a pretty good hand rip. But, you know, it's better to not brick, I think. During the end phase, okay, this is a punt right here. He holds priority in end phase and uses the Druisworm that he fetched with Magnamut, and he summons on Mug's turn, which is going to proc this Branded Regained, which gets a Druisworm onto the field for nothing. For nothing. He could have just not done it. I have no idea. I have no words. So he summons the Merly, which is going to get a Magnamut back onto the field. And really, that's just one of the best feelings, is having that regained summon Magnamut, because you know that even if your opponent breaks your board, you get to full combo again anyway. So we're gonna see the payoff to keeping the Called by the Grave, where we can force that Shuffler, but the Shuffler doesn't even really help you too much as tier limits, because it's not going to force this fusion effect through. It's just going to resaturate your deck with tier names, which I guess is good, but you know, maybe having disruption in your graveyard would be even better. Who knows? I am no tier limit gamer myself. So we're going to see the polymerization, to which Mug chains a Baldrake on his Baldrake, so that he can, you know, banish whatever comes out, presumably the Kit Kalos, fusing Merly and something in hand into Kit Kalos. I am so envious of this Royal Baldrake, for real. That is gorgeous. I do not have any Royals in my Dragon Link deck. And we do see the Kit Kat. And the Merly. And the Kit Kat is going to get banished. Getting the draw off of the Branded Regained. Unfortunately, no, like, maxi, but having a Tracer for next turn isn't bad. I'm not entirely sure why he goes into Mud Dragon. This might be one of those tier limits gamers that just activates and prays. Not sure what the reasoning behind that was. Maybe he was trying to set up a Zeus play. And this is tier being broken, of course. Extending. Kelbeck Mill. I'm not going to go through all of that. Just assume that the tier's hitting everything. We get into Rhino Heart. And that doesn't work. Or Kaleido Heart. Same difference. To shuffle away the branded regained. But shuffling away branded regained doesn't even really do anything. You can just search it up again. I love that. I actually really love Aerial. I don't personally play it in my tier elements list, but I do think that is one of the cooler techs. I feel like it's better to be playing Aerial and no Winda than to be playing Winda in this deck. Maybe that's a hot take, but I do really like Aerial a lot. He sets the obvious Solic. I'm not entirely sure. Like, I feel like clearly he needed to go into an... I don't know what he would go into. He needed to go into a rank 4 that he could attack into something with. But these Bestials are too big, and Borderland Dragon is too big for the average tier rank 4. So I guess he was just kind of out of luck there. I'm not entirely sure why he would go into the Mud Dragon, though, knowing that. The only explanation I can think of is that he just didn't know what he was going to do when he activated his tier name. So he gets the big shuffle off of his Exchange of the Spirit boosted, what was it, Kelbeck? It's so hard to remember these things' names. But he is playing Exchange of the Spirit. I guess this is like teched out for the mirror in some regards. But I think that cleanly resolving your effects is going to help the tier limit mirror way more than just playing some cute tech, even if I do respect the Aerial. And from here, this is basically just going to be a massacre. This is just cleaning up. He attempts to negate the Borderland Dragon, but that doesn't even matter. Like, he could link off the Borderland Dragon and then just make it immediately with that Tracer. This is playing with your food at this point. And that's clean OTK for sure. Savage to get a negate up. I mean, we already see all the stuff that he sees. There's nothing the opponent can do to stop this. That is game. Does it actually let me pause? Oh, cool. That's neat. Doesn't let me investigate the field, but I guess we don't really have to. Yeah, the biggest mistake, I think, was activating a tier name with nothing to fuse into, but also activating the Druis Worm in hand on Mug's first turn, which gave him a free regained trigger. I think in some perfect world, this tier limit player could have beaten Mug, but with this, with the way that this played out, there's just no way. Overall, really good game. I enjoyed seeing it. I liked all of the plays that Mug made. I think that personally, I would have been tempted to be greedy and try to end on, you know, both branded back row out, just because it's so hard to lose a grind matchup against anything when you have both of your branded back row. And with a shaky hand, yeah, sometimes it's better to play greedy. But there's nothing wrong with playing safe. Anyway, I hope that this was educational in some regards. I feel like I've learned a lot. Yeah, y'all have a good one.